All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. It is time. Narrow RD-6 work begins. First piece right here. Get that air cleaner top off, and it's all downhill from this point on. So we have officially begun. We'll pop the hood next. The goal is to get down into the bent rod and broken piston and broken liner inside the diesel engine. Just for posterity's sake, this old lettering in the hood, 9062042. Let's remember that number. We may come back to that. It's hard to say whose number that was because scratching down through the layers of paint and the air cleaner is an excellent medium for that. It started off cat yellow and then it was this municipality orange. So that is like a county or township owned machine. So is that where those numbers came from? It is hard to say. But then it became a Civilian Conservation Corps machine, or CCC, and that's where this dark forest green color comes in. So we had yellow, then we had the orange, and then we had the green. So like the CCC, I think, took this kind of as a hand-me-down. And then after the CCC was done with it, it was painted this very light and faded yellow once again. So we have at least 4 coats of paint there. Was that a county number or the CCC ID number? Who knows, but it's cool. Get the radiator off the front first. Grill screen come off. Most of this radiator will end up being taken apart. The bottom tank is scrap for sure. It has some pretty impressive repairs to it. The core's been hit pretty good right there. 1 tube damaged. We've got another 2 tubes soldered together, repair to a third. We've got a repair to that ear's been broken. Large repair right there where it's either been caved in or pushed out. Another large repair right there where it looks like it's been heaved out. To pull the radiator off, there are 4 bolts at this upper connection. As you can see, I've had this radiator off once before when I was learning about the engine damage, so I only put a couple back in. I also pulled the cooling fan off at that time as well. That's why there's nothing there. But we'll start with the 4-bolt flange up top. With all of those out, we move down to the bottom. We've got some 15/16 head bolts down here. This is the first one that you can see. The rest are only accessed from underneath. So down below, we have these 2 here and here, and a third right up here. I'll finish up by disconnecting the 2-bolt flange on the lower water pipe, and we're ready to pull. Now, this isn't a scenario where you take all the bolts out and the radiator can just drop. I have this top bolt in loosely by 2 threads just for insurance, but we're not tight on the chains yet, and the radiator is still holding there because this portion of the bottom tank is machined on the inside to be a rather precise slip fit onto a large boss that's on the front cover. So not only do you have to take all the bolts out, but you have to slide that whole radiator tank in a controlled manner off of that front cover in order to have it free. So it makes it a lot easier to work on in that respect. Water pipes off next. There is another connection down here, but I'm taking it loose up at the thermostat housing as well as under the water pump flange. I'm taking the thermostat housing here off next. I could leave it attached to the main water manifold for now, but this is all going to have to be gone through anyhow, so Just taking it off now saves me some time. Let me get the open end on that one. I would like to take this water manifold off next, but the air cleaner gets in the way of the bolts back there. So we have a bolt here for the band clamp. I should be able to take that bolt out, and then this clamp would hinge on the pin back here. I also then would have to take this crossover tube off of the back of the main intake manifold. I'd leave that tube with the air cleaner. I've got 2 of the 3 bolts out of the flange already. We'll get this one out, and then we'll undo that clamp. All right, that was easy enough. I want to show you guys something. Air cleaner crossover pipe. The gasket on the one end is homemade, and they cut it out of an old cream of wheat cereal box. Up here toward the top are the cooking instructions. The middle has some kind of a advertisement. I can't read it anymore, but the bottom here talks about cream of wheat cereals, an integral part of breakfast, blah, blah, blah. You just never know what people would make gaskets out of. That opened us up to get at everything. So 6 studs, 6 nuts, 2 on each port, and then this should detach from the head. Next, I want to take this air cleaner clamp out of the way, but in the most cat-like manner, they hide the 2 bolts for the main bracket where it attaches to the cylinder head. So the one bolt is back up in here, okay, practically hidden. I have that out. The other bolt is where I have the wrench going in, up in here. So there, we're on it. Cat loves to hide bolts like that. So I'll work this one out, and then we'll take this piece off. I think I can get it. Yep, my fingers now. There we are. Give you a better view of what we were working with. Yeah, hide them both right back up in there. Other side of the engine now, water plumbing and manifolds are up next. So I'll start with this water pipe. Goes from the cylinder head to the top of the starting engine, 2-bolt flange on each end. This is another piece that I just temporarily buttoned back on with 1 bolt after I realized how bad the engine was. So that's out of the way. 2 main studs on the front of the starting engine block hold the manifold, which is basically a pipe. Goes to this 2-bolt flange that attaches to this other adapter. Exhaust pipe with another 2-bolt flange that feeds the hot tube that goes through the diesel engine intake. That hot tube aids in cold starting for the diesel engine because it can draw heat off of it while you're cranking it, trying to warm it up. These are usually always warped. They're always rusty or broken on the flanges, so I'm leaving those 2 pieces together. I've got the 2-bolt flange loose at the intake, finishing the second attaching stud at the starting engine block, and it should just slide right off. Yeah. There we are. To take the diesel engine intake and exhaust manifolds off, large brass nuts, 1 right here, 1 there, and 1 there. And they just clamp what I call these T-bars. It's like a T-bar bracket, all right. 2 pad feet on, 1 on each end, and all they do is go on the stud, and they hold pressure against right here and against right there. You can see where they bear on the manifolds. So same routine with these other 2. I will loosen these, and then the manifolds should just about fall right off of the cylinder head. Yeah, we're loosening up. I think I'll just let the intake rest on top of the starting engine if it wants to drop that far. Wonder if I can sneak the exhaust manifold out right now. There we go. Nope, I can't sneak it past those spark plugs. Take at least one of the starting engine spark plugs out. Now we got it. Another easy piece to take off is the starting engine gas tank. 2 bolts right on the front of the cylinder head. There we go. Tank and bracket, all in one. Might as well get the starting engine off the side of the diesel next. So when I drain the oil, I always take the oil fill cap off. Creates an air vent so that it drains out a little bit better. 2 plugs on the bottom. Let's do this one over here so we're not reaching through oil. Drain pan's in place, by the way. There's 1. There's 2. Let that drain for a minute while we take some flange bolts out. Some of you may be wondering why this starting engine is so much more yellow than the rest of the tractor. And this is another part of the backstory. I've mentioned it before, but we'll briefly dive into it again. This is not the starting engine that came on this tractor. Matt knew that the one that was original to this machine was seized up. So as a part of the deal, he threw this one in as a spare. And I briefly went through this one, just a light refresh back in 2013 when I got into this the first time. Took the original one off. I have that here in the shed, and it turns out that one was only lightly seized. I've got that one freed up, but I never did do anything else to it mechanically. But I hung this one on in its place just as a temporary deal because I had aspirations of seeing if I could make this diesel run again. Shortly after I put this starting engine on the side is when I discovered the internal engine damage on the diesel. So we've never run this one, not as long as it's been here. Now there are 13 flange bolts total for these starting engines. So way up in here, number 1 up at the corner, number 2 just below that. Then we have number 3 on this corner, and number 4 is up in here. A lot of times number 4 is hidden and people don't get to that one. Number 5 next to it, number 6 right there, number 7 right there, number 8, another one up in the corner up there, and on the other side of that clutch housing, 9 and 10. And then up on the top of the clutch housing, we have number 11, number 12, and I'll leave number 13 in place until I have my lifting bracket on and we're ready to pull. The only other thing we have to do is remove the nut and the lock washer from the bottom of this ball stud and disconnect the pinion control rod from the lever. Somebody glued that old flange gasket on really well. Those scoundrels. Take us out. Okay, we just have the water pump left, and then this whole side of the diesel engine will be opened up. I found another old crack repair. There's a braze line, starts right here off the end of my thumb and goes all the way around here as far as I can reach right now. More evidence that this thing probably froze at one point. Knock on wood, I have not seen any repairs to the main block yet, but we have a lot of stuff on this other side that could be hiding a repair as well, so we'll just think happy thoughts. There is an adapter right here that joins the passage from the back of the water pump into this coolant galley in the block, and I've got 2 bolts loosened up already. Looks like we have 3 more. So far they've all been cracking right loose and not giving me a problem, although this bottom one right here looks like it's fairly long and deep. If any are going to give me problems, it's probably going to be this guy. Nope, look at that. Loosened right up. I think, yeah, that housing's already loose. All right. There's the adapter. Water pump to front cover now. We have bolts with nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Regular bolts now. On the inside here is 1. Just below that, if we get used to the low light, number 2, and then number 3 right here, and 4th regular bolt. Loosening him up now. We'll see if we can get this pump off. All right, take our last holding bolt out. There. Gear drive. Looks like somebody's done some improper fold-over locking in the past. Big surprise, but okay. Now to get out. Well, everybody, we managed a pretty good start on the RD-6. There is really nothing left on this side. Next time, we will work on clearing this side. There's a little bit more for complication over there. But looking at the top of the fuel tank, it's started to rain, and it's supposed to do this for the next couple of days. So I think Mother Nature has decided we have enough for the first episode. I would like to keep going a little further. I don't think it's worth it. So I'll get the cover rolled back across the machine and let you all go. So this is what happens when your projects become bigger than your shop. You have to contend with things like this. Don't be dumb like Squatch, kids. Don't be dumb like Squatch. All right, everyone, I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you're looking forward to more content on the RD-6 to come. So catch y'all back on the next one.